G'day Spurs fans, Paul Hotspur hippie here, and 2 days is a long time in football. I haven't done a video for a couple of days, and well, it's not really, because nothing's happened, does it? Nothing's happened. Last time we spoke, or I spoke, and you hopefully were entertained for a few minutes, was that Davinson Sanchez and Ndombele have both gone to Galatasaray, which is all lovely, but we've still got Hugo and Eric hanging around. Eric Dyer, of all people, who rumour has it had a meeting with Daniel Levy about his future. Is that future a paper shredder sort of future, or is it running up and down a hill for a year future? Because I don't think he's going to get much of a look in with Ange's team, but it might have changed since Sanchez has gone now, so you never know. Football's a funny old game. But I thought it was quite funny, the press report that said, even though the meeting with Eric Dyer was secret, we're going to just speculate on what might have been said. Typical journalism, you know. I mean, the story of Eric has had a meeting with Daniel Levy, you know, it's only got 2 sentences, isn't it, or one? So you've got to fluff it up. So we'll have to wait and see what happens with that then. It's a bit disappointing that he's still around, but oh well, you know, he didn't get called up for England, unlike Harry Maguire. Let's see if he's in the starting lineup when we play Ukraine, I think, first on the weekend. What else has been happening? Well, the goings on at Manchester United might have a flow-on effect to Tottenham, because I believe it's a Qatari investment group has pulled out of Manchester United now because the Glazers want $500 billion or something, you know, that they didn't even pay for themselves. They borrowed the money and passed the debt on to Man United. I don't know how business works, but that just seems wrong to me. So are they going to be interested in Spurs? And my short answer at the moment to this, which I will go through, and I'll probably lose some subscribers when I explain my reasons, is I don't really want it. I don't really want it. And this isn't to do with, it's a very simple reason why I don't want it to happen, but it's not to do with human rights, because me being a hippie, I think that all regimes and governments or whoever has power is basically knackered around the world. Some more than others, but I'm not doing any kind of moral equivalency here. You know, if you're in power, you're probably not that crash hot in my book. I think there has been a lot of kind of, I don't know what to call it, maybe Western sneering at the Middle East about the human rights records, and particularly about the LGBT community. And that's something I find a bit, not odd, but you know, a bit hypocritical in some ways. Now, when I first came to Sydney in and I'm not doing whataboutism here. I'm just saying that every regime or country has got its problems, or societies have their problems. When I first came to Sydney in the mid-90s, I heard it a few times from people. It was this thing, and it sounded like, to me, look, I was so naive, man. I just thought it was some sort of sick joke that wasn't serious. But I heard more than once this thing about gay bashing in Sydney. God, it's so windy here. Gay bashing in Sydney. And people would, you know, say things like, oh, you know, you just go down where they are and beat them up or chuck them off a cliff. And I thought this was, you know, a horrible joke, but I didn't think it actually happened. Oh, no. Turns out it did actually happen. Up until the 2010s, 90 people from the gay community went missing. Often ruled as suicide. Police were complicit. Police covered up in more than one instance that it was actually a homophobic attack. So everyone was in on it, and I just thought, oh no, that can't be happening. But yeah, it did happen. It did happen. So a short time later, we're pointing the finger at the Middle East saying, get your act in order. And yeah, they do have to get their act in order. I mean, the main problem I have with some countries, when I say countries, again, you've got to remember I'm talking about regimes. To give you an example where people can see beyond that. Last World Cup, Saudi Arabia played Argentina, and I'm pretty sure the whole world, apart from Argentina, was cheering Saudi Arabia on. Because when we look at it at a sporting level, we all can separate, who's running the show from ordinary people. And I found that actually quite heartwarming to see that happen, because Saudi Arabia, Qatar, they're those countries that get a lot of bad press, for rightfully so, but a lot of other countries should as well, man. So it's not really to do with human rights. I mean, I've got a bit of a personal beef with some countries in the Middle East because I'm a Muslim, and I don't know what book they're reading sometimes, but they don't give Muslims a good name, and a lot of what they do is, I don't know, man. I don't know. Apart from it says in the Quran there's no compulsion in religion, and they seem to do an awful lot of that, which ain't cool. So it's not really human rights. The main problem I've got with the takeover is, if it comes, is that we've got one of the best managers in the world right now, and I don't want him to go. And what often happens in any business, especially in entertainment, if a production company buys out another movie company, they just wipe the slate clean. Anything that was being made just gets canned. All the producers, everyone gets canned. And we saw at Chelsea when Bowley bought it. It wasn't that long before he ousted, I can't even remember who it was now, some bloke, and got in another bloke who was rubbish, and then they got Frank, who was the manager of Chelsea. I don't pay much attention to these things, So that's my main concern for a takeover at the moment, is that if we do get new owners, they would go through the place with a clean broom, and part of that, I suspect, would be Ange Postecoglou, which would be ridiculous. But these egotistical billionaires, it doesn't matter what country they come from. If you've got $1 billion, you're up to some shady shit, man. I don't think you're particularly nice or honourable. You've done some bad stuff in your life, let's face it. So, if that's nice, clean, Western capitalist billions, or whether it's all Middle East oil billions, it's all the same. It's all dirty money in the end. But I don't want Ange to go. Simple as that. That's my only reason. I think our owners are clowns, but we've had a good start under this manager, and I'd like to see out the ride. Now, if they do, get sick of the sight of Ange, which I can't imagine because Ange is brilliant, and they replace him with, I don't know, Sam Allardyce, then bring anyone in, But until that time, I think we should just stay put. There's a lot of hand-wringing going on, especially now that a lot of players are going over to Saudi Arabia, which, let's face it, they're going for the paycheck, aren't they? I wish some of them had just come clean about that, because, everyone's in it for the buck, aren't they? And Saudi Arabia is trying to push into, getting into the Champions League, which I don't think that's going to happen because they don't play, they haven't got the same regulations in place or whatnot. So, I don't whether it's Kuwaiti money, Qatari money, Saudi money, or I don't know, dodgy gambling brothel money that we're sort of living off at the moment, because that's what a lot of their income comes from. It comes from gambling and the not so family friendly side of life. So I don't really have that moral problem, but I don't know, I'll probably lose a few subscribers over this video, I reckon, because it's a bit off topic, but nothing happening, mate, is there? So when we get back to football in a couple of weeks, I'm sure it'll all be different and be talking about Sheffield United. Anyway, for now, peace and love, man, and come on you Spurs.